Can I even review AFI's Silver Bleeds the Black Sun? And what will that do to their position as my 336th favorite band? Come with me, come with me. We're gonna act a little weird in this video. We're gonna walk backwards and stuff. We're gonna be just like Davey Havok. We're gonna go in here and review the dang thing. Yes, we're going to be very pretentious in this album review. Davey Havok's perm and style choices are not the only odd thing about AFI in 2025. Silver Bleeds the Black Sun is very odd from front to back, and while I do like it when bands push the boundaries of what rock music can sound like, I was very concerned with this album that it was going to be on that boring side of experimentation. Long, droning nonsense that leads nowhere. But on the opener, Bird of Prey, the song is led around kind of a rickety bridge made of wood. It's got that texture to it as Davey Havok pushes into the lower registers of his vocal range, something that's going to play a pretty big part in this record throughout. There are tribal drums and prog keyboards and acoustic guitars right off the bat, all restrained in this odd signature sound, this new signature sound of AFI. There's a little bit of the Who in concept, but the delivery is something wholly unique. It's very spacey, but not quite limp or boring. I'd maybe put Bird of Prey on if I was going like on a mid-pace jog in the afternoon. Huh! Behind the Clock takes the bewitched, gnarled vibe that we've got going on and carries our ears back to the 1960s of big guitar-oriented rock and roll on the guitar, while Davey continues to throw spells of divination as he gasps between and sometimes during words. An explosive drum fill kicks things up a notch later in the song while remaining kind of hopeful yet sloppy. Holy Visions is a catchy, funky song, and it's the most of both of those things. It's the catchiest, the funkiest song, I don't want to say of the year, but it's the best track here. If you're looking for if you're looking for accessibility, then this is the hit single that you need to go to. Holy Visions! You're clasping your cheap beads as a radioactive girl lives in the Earth's core. At least that's what I gather from the lyrics here, and I'm really enjoying Holy Visions quite a bit. I think that is the one. If I don't revisit the entire album, I'm definitely going to have Holy Visions in my regular rotation, even if I have no clue what Davey wrote it about. Blasphemy in Excess stands true to its name, being the only expletive track on the album. And like Behind the Clock, this feels like a run from Pete Townshend's Guitar Playbook, but put through a goth rock filter and dunked under a post-punk waterfall. Like a doofus. Spears of Truth. I'm not sure about the plurals or non-plurals of these titles, like Bird of Prey, Spear of Truth. Is that a coincidence? Are there more of those? Spear of Truth is the halfway point of this record, and thank the Lord it's not an interlude. I can't believe it. I haven't had to make an interlude since that Hives record that I liked a lot, except that it had an interlude on it. This album, it may be the most pretentious album of all time to not contain an interlude, and I'm happy about that, because this album, Silver Bleeds the Black, Silverfish of the Black Sun of gothic purple neon hippie culture, this album feels very much like an album that would have an interlude, a really boring, droning on interlude. I guess the acoustic guitars and military drums are the vibe of this entire project. As Davey says, world is bad in some very creative and passionate ways on this project. He also whistles a good bit. He's got a good hippie whistle. And, sometimes you got a good hippie whipple. And sometimes you don't got no good hippie whipple. So I initially hated Ash Speck in the Green Day upon its release, but it's growing on me. And it's the beginning of side B of this album that completely shifts gears of the entire project. And we're going to talk about that now. Side A is Bird Through the Spear that pierces the bird. Very classic rock, covered in post-punk goo and gothic fear. So you got this gothic classic rock sound on side A. And side B is synth-heavy 80s bops with some of that post-punk fun injected into the veins. And Ash Speck in the Green Day is kind of rocking at moments, at times. The artsy-fartsy vibes continue. They're powerful in this one. But the pretension and the artsy-fartsy stuff, it lands. It lands despite itself being artsy-fartsy, pretentious beyond words. This record is strong enough to be pretentious and doofy at times. Marge, or Margarete, has Mr. Havok trading rapid-fire lyrics, which I love, but he's trading them with himself. He's singing in so many different layers and layered vocals that I almost thought that Jade was singing lead on this one or someone else in AFI. And it's as far from an AFI song that you could possibly get, but somehow wrangles in the vibes from an album like Sing the Sorrow. What the hell is going on here? Is this good? Is this bad? Why are there yellow stains on my closet? So, Davey Havok is out here dressing like a patchouli cornfield clown or whatever from 2078. I don't know. I like when people get weird. So I like what Davey's doing here. And rock bands definitely need to be weirder. But A World Unmade, that's a song, is kind of what I expected when I saw him dressing like a cartoon sailor from Pigland, New Papa, Iceland. Very pretentious, very artsy, goth, hippy dippy, smoke two joints before you smoke two joints. But you've never heard Sublime because you're so artsy fartsy. It's that kind of song. Is it good? Is it bad? Are we all too stoned to know what exists? Yes, that's exactly something. The final tombstone on this album goes hard and has ended up in heavy rotation in my Spotify somehow. I actually thought that this next song was an old AFI song. Something Underground, but it sounds like a completely different band from the rest of the record, if I'm being honest, but I love it. It's something Underground. Scoring, ranking, oh boy, I've listened to this album a bunch, and I'm not talking to you guys, I'm talking to them over here. I've listened to this album a whole bunch of times. And I guess that's good, right? I keep going back to it. I'm going to talk to you guys too, the poor people over there on the right. I don't know what it is. I keep going back to this record. I keep playing the songs and being mildly entertained by the whole thing and being blown away by holy visions. Get 10% off your energy boost with my promo code, Every Song Ever. I feel like such a sellout. I love it. It's an oddly consistent album, but I say that Holy Visions and No One Underground, that's the other highlight. And the rest of the album, if the rest of the record aside from those two songs, if the rest of the record were to suddenly be gone from this world, to suddenly be gone underground, I kind of miss dipping my toes into Margaret or Marge, or Behind the Clock, or even Blasphemy in Excess. So there are songs outside of my highlights that are pretty good. I don't want these to go away. Would I buy this on CD or vinyl? I don't know. It's very, very strange. It's a very strange record, and I'm giving this very strange album, I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5. I think that's fair. But as for how that affects AFI's ranking in my ranking of every artist ever, they've actually moved up with this record, so I think it's a stronger record. They've moved up from my 336th favorite band to 300 on the dot favorite. Wow, that's pretty good. 336, so they've went up 36 spots. They were hanging out with bands like Whole Wheat Bread and Snot, and now they're up there with The Boss and Rihanna.